What the fuck?
Jay, bend over.
Me.
Oh, jeez.
Good evening, chocolatiers. Tonight, we are closing out one of the most polarizing modern horror trilogies with Halloween Ends. Directed once again by David Gordon Green, this film promises to bring the saga of Laurie Strode and Michael Myers to a definitive close. But this one definitely caused a lot of arguments. So some fans loved its bold new direction, others thought it completely missed the point. Me, I have mixed feelings because this movie is as fascinating as it is frustrating. So right off the bat, I want to say I do respect Halloween Ends more than I love it. It's definitely weird, it's moody, it takes risks that most horror sequels really wouldn't even think about. It also does get, to a point of understanding why people were disappointed, because if you came here expecting 2 hours of Laurie versus Michael, the movie gives you something completely different. This is less of a slasher and more of a dark character study, and that's both its strength and its downfall. So the plot is that 4 years after the events of Halloween Kills, Haddonfield is a town rotting from trauma. Michael Myers has disappeared. We don't know where he went, but his shadow still lingers. People are paranoid, angry, and ready to turn on anyone who reminds them of what they've lost. That is where Corey Cunningham, played by Rowan Campbell, who I actually really like, he's going to be in that Silent Night remake this year, so that's where he comes in. He's a young man who is whose life has been destroyed by a tragic accident while babysitting, an accident that mirrors Michael's legacy in all the wrong ways. And when Corey crosses paths with Laurie Strode and her granddaughter Allison, things start to spiral really fast. What follows isn't just about Michael Myers, it's about evil itself and how it spreads like a virus through pain, resentment, and even fear. And so Jamie Lee Curtis, pretty good in this film. This is her most human Laurie yet. She's calm, reflective, and finally ready to move on after decades of trauma. And it's a quieter performance than we usually get from her. But I feel like it's a fitting one where Laurie is emotional, but she's not just fighting Michael anymore. She's, fighting the ideas that evil always wins. Meanwhile, we have Allison here who's getting more to do, and I actually really liked her arc. She's trying to find hope in a place that doesn't have any left, especially with both her parents being dead. But the biggest surprise and the biggest source of controversy is Corey in the house. Corey Cunningham. So Rowan Campbell gives a great performance as Corey, but his character hijacks the movie. He is the new face of evil, or at least what happens when a community creates its own monster. And a lot of fans hated this. They wanted Michael front and center, but honestly, it's kind of a lot of what I liked about the movie. I really like the concept, like this little Batman and Robin energy that we get. But it's a little weird to have this for your final film in your trilogy. So let's be real. Michael Myers barely showing up in this movie, kind of weird. He's more of a myth than a man now, and that is kind of the point. The film asks, what if evil doesn't die? What if it just kind of changes shape? Which I like. You get it? The shape. I understand that. Corey becomes a reflection of that, and he's a broken soul consumed by the darkness around him. And it's a very interesting take on legacy trauma and the cycle of violence. But as much as I do respect the idea, it leaves the movie feeling very uneven, because when Michael finally does appear for his showdown with Laurie, it's awesome, brutal, emotional, symbolic, but it's also very short. Like, this is the final battle that we've been waiting 40 years for, and they claim it's going to be the definitive one until they clearly reboot it again, and it lasts maybe like 10 minutes. Still with that, though, I think the ending does hit that final sequence of Laurie, the knife, the town, procession, the grinder. It's very poetic, it's closure, and I feel like David Gordon Green continues his mix of grounded realism and mythic horror. The cinematography is great, there's lots of moody lighting, quiet moments, and Carpenter-esque framing. And the score by John Carpenter, Cody Carpenter, and Daniel Davies is phenomenal again. It's both eerie, tragic, and beautiful, like it has been on the new trilogy. I also feel like this movie has a really great slasher soundtrack that's more like a requiem, and I feel like that's very fitting. So I do want to talk about some standout scenes like usual. The opening babysitting accident is absolutely brutal and shocking, and it sets the tone right away. The junkyard sequence is pure chaos, and one of the best kill scenes in the modern trilogy. I feel like the blowtorch scene is kind of insane, and the final Laurie versus Michael fight is short, but it is powerful, and that ending, which genuinely feels like a proper goodbye, not just to Michael Myers, but to everything this franchise represents, is pretty beautiful. I feel like the biggest problem with Halloween Ends is timing, because if this had been its own movie, not the finale, I think that it would have been received way better. But putting this new evil transfer storyline in the last entry after building so much around Laurie versus Michael feels disjointed, especially considering they could have put Corey in an earlier franchise, something like that. Or not earlier franchise, but like they could have put him in 2018 or Kills. It just feels really weird. Michael gets sidelined. Michael's barely there, and when he is there, he's treated like an afterthought until the end. But despite those flaws, I do respect how bold it is. It's messy, but it is trying to say something. And Halloween Ends, while not being the finale most fans wanted, I do think that it's the one that fits this trilogy's theme. It's not about Michael winning or losing. It's about how evil infects people, how trauma lingers, and how some things really never truly die. While I didn't love it, I did appreciate it, and I do think that there's a lot to actually love about this film. But it's an imperfect ending with an interesting choice to go for a third film. I think it's very flawed, brave, and deeply weird, but at least it dares to be different. So with that wraps up the Halloween trilogy for the OCTOBERFEST 2025. Let me know what you guys thought. Did Halloween Ends ruin the trilogy for you, or do you appreciate what it tried to do? And if you're enjoying this Horror at the Marathon, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell, because evil may end, but OCTOBERFEST never dies. We've got 2 more films, and guess what? In for a treat if you stay to the end. This is the next 2 films we're covering. So tomorrow, I was going to do a film. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I'm going to get some pushback for not doing it. I'm going to do that next year. Day 1, October 1st. It's perfect for that. So I decided to do Dr. Sleep. Love that movie. Want to do a rewatch of it anyway, so we're going to be doing that tonight. I will be covering that tomorrow. And then the day after that, which will be Halloween, we're going to be doing Casper. I think I've got him right over here, actually. Got that Steelbook when it dropped. And I haven't watched it yet. Might be doing that tonight as well. I am very, very, very excited to revisit this. Let's see if it still holds up from childhood. Jesus, there's dust. Let's see if it still holds up from childhood. And with that, like, subscribe for more, and we will be covering those 2 next. And catch you guys on the next one.